OK，Hello everyone，我真的觉得回音好大呀，你们觉得呢？
是有一点。
那我那我迅速退出一下，再等你进来，因为我觉得
OK，
这是还挺麻烦的。
so I'll be right back. And things are growing.
All right, no worries.
我不知道好一点没
那现在好像没有回音。
？OK，好的，那就这样了。Hello, sorry for being distracted by the connection issue, and let's get it started. Um, it's great to have you here in our virtual living room. This is our monthly broadcast where we dive into the hottest topics in the Polkadot ecosystem. This time, we've invited Hyperbridge and Bifrost to join us as they discuss the proposals they are just submitted. This proposal could bring significant liquidity and new users to Polkadot ecosystem. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't hesitate to share it to your friends. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Firstly, could you briefly introduce yourself and explain your roles within your project? And firstly, let's start from Sean.
Yes, for sure. Well, my name is Sheon, and I'm the co-founder of Hyperbridge. Hyperbridge is a secure cross-chain bridge that is powered entirely by cryptographic proofs, proofs of consensus, proofs of storage, and essentially enables developers to, for the first time, build mission-critical cross-chain experiences and be sort of free of worries of getting hacked by whether it's North Korea or even people internal to your own team as well, because that usually tends to be the case. So that's what Hyperbridge is.
Well, so that should be my turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey guys, my name is Tyrone, and I'm the head of dive role and the product manager of Bifrost. So Bifrost, it is a cross-chain liquid staking power chain in the Polkadot ecosystem. And to be emphasized here, it is the cross-chain that very important. Recently, we collaborating with Hyperbridge to initialize and leveraging the cross-chain functions and the Polkadot modules to cross different V tokens, which is liquid staking token of Bifrost, and also DOT consensus token of Polkadot to the external blockchains like Ethereum, Binance chains, and so on. So I think today we will dive into these topics further, and hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome to our guests, and our today's topic is about the proposals and you guys jointly proposed the Polkadot DeFi Singularity proposal, which aims to add DOT ETH and vDOT ETH liquidity pools on Arbitrum, on OP, Arbitrum, Base, and BNB chain. So I'm very curious to know that at what circumstances you guys propose this initiative. How about Tyrone to share this topic to us?
Yeah, for sure. That's a quite good question. So as I said, collaborating with Hyperbridge, the most advantage by this collaboration is that we integrated the Hyperbridge palette, which can enable us to cross different assets out to the Polkadot ecosystem. So right now we can easily connect to Optimism chain, Arbitrum base, and Binance Smart chain, and also Ethereum mainnet, right? And I think the meaningful behind the dot of ease liquidity or vDOT of ease liquidity, the the core under this is two consensus token, right? So dot is the consensus token of Polkadot, and ETH is the consensus token of Ethereum. So the meaning behind it is the consensus token will connect many different of token, like Ethereum will easily connects to like USDT, USDC, and a lot of different stable coins and protocol coins in Ethereum. And also DOT will connect the liquidity across the whole Polkadot ecosystem. So firstly, setting up the DOT and ETH against two of these tokens is quite important to start up all the liquidity across different protocols. And the second thing is the vDOT, right? So vDOT is the liquid staking dot of Bifrost, so which means it's the staking version of DOT. And vDOT will bring us to like if you're using the products across Polkadot, you should know the liquidity with vDOT in hydration, which is DEX, decentralized DEX in Polkadot ecosystem, that vDOT connects to a lot of almost all of the liquidity inside of the only pool of hydration. So by establishing or incentivizing this tool of liquidity across these different external chains, it will bring us comprehensive liquidity across them. And for Bifrost, our version or we say our mission is like bringing the cross-chain usage across these different chains and enable the liquid staking that can easily happen on the external chain. So that's what we are trying to delivering, and it is also the next step what we will do after this proposal executed. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, cool. And I think that's really a big leap forward for Polkadot ecosystem. And so for this topic, Sean, do you have something to add? If this proposal get approved, what would be the biggest benefit for users and Polkadot ecosystem?
I think it's always a good idea to look at what's happening elsewhere in crypto. A lot of times in Polkadot, we tend to forget that there's a whole industry happening outside, which is that setting up these pools essentially sets up trade routes, right? It sets up the necessary pathways that allows for developers to easily be onboarded to the entire ecosystem and not maybe some specific dApps, right? Like Tyrone just said, DOT is the sort of consensus token, meaning that there's consensus across all of the applications on Polkadot to offer some product for this token, right? So you can imagine a user story for a user to maybe bring in ETH or bringing in wrapped BTC. They can't really do much with these assets. But when they bring in DOT, they can do staking, they can do liquid staking, they can do loop staking, leverage staking, which is a new product from Bifrost. They can do all sorts of things with DOT beyond even just DeFi as well, that is simply not available for these external assets. So, like I said, let's look at what's happening in crypto. We see that, for instance, there is a wrapped Solana token on Ethereum that has a very high amount of TVL that's available in pools. And this has really been the way that the Solana meme coin season has been able to sustain itself and perpetuate as far as it's come so far, right? Because people who want to quickly ape into any Solana products, as you can think of it, they can take easily swaps from ETH, from stables into Solana through Wormhole, jump to Solana, buy whatever they want to buy, and everything that they're buying obviously is denominated in the Sol token. So it's very, very important that these pools are set up so that we can give products in Polkadot access to more DeFi users. I think you're muted, Kristen.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing. The you know for this part of money, when I think when you return to the treasury, and there will be some benefits back to the treasury. I think like the other proposals Bifrost did before.
So this proposal is entirely to provide incentives for the liquidity provisioning of these assets. I think there's no direct benefit to the treasury, but I think there's very direct benefit to dot holders in that they now get, I want to say, a pipeline of incoming users, a funnel for incoming users, especially a funnel from places that have a lot of DeFi traffic. Hyperbridge is connected to Ethereum L1, Arbitrum, Optimism, Base. These are chains with high TVL in DeFi across lending, across DEXs. These have, so far, maybe beyond Solana, the places with the most successful DeFi ecosystems. And so we're providing dot holders and we're providing the dot DeFi ecosystem to access to these users.
Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
think this proposal can be enabled. It's the Hyperbridge is the foundation because Hyperbridge supported all these chains. So uh, so how do you select chains? Like based on the technical conditions, or were there other factors? When Hyperbridge wanna choose this chain to integrate.
I think it's a combination of factors. I think the primary factor, of course, being, DeFi activity. That was very, very important to us. But also, like you said, there's some technical dimension to the criteria. It's the case that the Ethereum blockchain and its L2s are somewhat verifiable. We are able to verify its consensus. We're able to verify, its storage, and this allows for fully trustless, interoperability. No multi-sigs, no off-chain parties that authorize what should happen. We have our Explorer. If you look at our Explorer, everything that's done on the Hyperbridge blockchain is accompanied by proofs. And so, this limits us to chains that are able to produce these proofs. Not all chains produce these proofs. But I think for sustainability and also for security of users' funds, it's very important that we continue to only integrate chains that are verifiable going forward.
Okay, cool. Do you plan to expand to Solana or other ecosystem in the future?
I think we definitely want to expand to Solana and also, future ecosystems. We are currently researching a few at the moment, but Solana at this current phase of their network is unfortunately not verifiable, and so this I would say this is a major problem for bridging securely to Solana. And unfortunately, at Polito Labs, we're not very interested in compromising on our beliefs about how the Web3 experience should look like. We believe the Web3 experience should be fully trustless, and so we unfortunately will not be deploying any version of any trusted service for Hyperbridge to Solana until there is some economic way to verify the Solana blockchain. But beyond Solana, we're seeing new chains coming up. There's now Sonic, there's now Monad. These are verifiable chains, and you can expect that we will be bridging to these chains.
Okay, cool. Very looking forward to it. And the next question is to Tyrone. Bifrost liquidity tokens are integrated across various ecosystem as well. And which V tokens is currently the most popular? And what's the vision for further developments?
Well, sorry, Kristen, could you repeat that question again? I can barely hear you.
Oh, okay. I mean, Bifrost liquidity tokens are integrated across various ecosystem. Which V tokens is currently the most popular one?
Oh yeah. Oh sure. Yeah, and I think I want to declare the previous question about benefiting after this proposal executing. So the proposal that we initiated with the hyperbridge is a purely incentivizing proposal, like what Sean just said. So it's a little bit different with the previous proposal that Bifrost initiated. So our proposal initiated like the liquidity loan from the treasury. So is something literally like we borrowing the fund from the treasury, and we stake them for 1 year, and once we get interest from the staking reward, and we repay the staking reward plus the principal that we borrowed from the treasury back after 1 year. So that's like a liquidity loan, and we pay back the interest with them. But right now the situation is quite different. This is a purely incentivizing proposal. So by leveraging this proposal, like the question just asked, was the privilege or most popular V token, right, of Bifrost, is like, to be honest, we have vDOT, and the vDOT, to be honest, this is quite the most popular one of V token across Bifrost, and that's the reason why we're trying to establish in the proposal the vDOT against ETH in Ether at midnight or across different chains. So right now the situation is that we can easily cross the asset of those different V tokens, of course includes vDOT, vGlamour, and so on, and also BNC or native token, and also DOT, crossing to those different external chains. This is the first step right now. And then maybe next month or the month after next month is the second step. We are trying to deploy the SLPX contract across this different chain. So SLPX, briefly introducing, is a cross-chain liquid staking stack. We deploy a remotely contract on those different chains, and the developer can easily integrate with them, and which can enable users to directly mint, or easily saying directly stake DOT on Ether at midnight on Base chain or on Binance Smart Chain. So that sounds interesting, right? Because let's say before, if you're the user of consensus loyalty in Ether at midnight, but right now if you have DOT, or let's say if you have ETH, okay, you can deposit ETH as a collateral in the lending and borrowing market, and you borrow not DOT, and you stake the DOT on Ethereum directly. You don't even know what is Polkadot. You don't even know what is Bifrost. You don't even know what is Hyperbridge. And then we are doing the packages underlayingly and make sure the users have the best UX on the front end. So yeah, that's the popular one. Yes, I think all of what we talking right now is quite popular. And the next step, expanding to, if we have chance, maybe the Mantle or other protocols that leveraging the layer 2 of Ether at midnight, we are trying to consider to launch maybe another V token in the next step. But right now we are trying to focus on the existing ones to make users easily stake and mint on their loyalty chains. So that's the destination of us.
Okay, cool. And user experience is very important, so we should focus on the tokens that we already been done. But for the you mentioned that users can stake their DOT on any other chains. So for the benefit they receive, would be DOT or is Ether or the native token on other chains?
What do you mean by receive?
Yeah, I mean, if I stake my DOT on Polkadot, I can receive the dot as the APY.
All right, I got you. So let's say if you stake DOT on either at midnight or on base chain, right? So you will instantly get vDOT. This is a representation of liquid staking token that issued by Bifrost. And inside of it, inside of this representation token is the staking reward. So as long as you get it and you hold it, and you will get the staking reward once you redeem it. So that's the yield bearing token.
Oh, okay. Cool. So let's move on to our next topic, which is the burning topic of the February. I think the Bybit, the Bybit just get hacked, and their hardware wallet lost 1.5 billion. Which making it the largest crypto hack in history. This bring us to consider that security has always been a major concern for everyday users, despite using, because despite users are using, widely recognized practices like hardware, but they are still, field they're still fall victim to attack. So we want to bring out this topic and to give our users more tips to how to make their tokens safe. So how about two of you guys share with our audience that how do you view this issue? This hack happened to Bybit, and why do hackers seem to have a limitless capabilities? They can hack anything they want and they get succeed. So also, why are there so many security vulnerabilities in blockchain? What can users do to truly protect their assets? So how about we start from Sean this time?
I mean, my perspective on the Bybit hack was initially that likely there was some social engineering that happened, that occurred, that maybe allowed the attacker to gain access of, of the respective signers' hardware wallets. But it's now come out that there was a malicious code injected directly by taking over the DNS records of the website and allowing the attacker essentially target the Bybit signers by obscuring whatever it is they thought they were signing, which is mind you, a very sophisticated attack. And virtually all, I guess, DeFi front ends that are hosted using the traditional DNS record system are vulnerable to this attack. But this is also why, we've, for the longest of times in the Web3 space, always advocated for front ends that are hosted on IPFS, for instance, where the specific version of that front end is pinned forever, right? It's always accessible and it's always verified whenever you access that front end. Whatever extension you're using to access IPFS will verify that the hash of the front end actually pertains to what exactly you received, all the code and all the HTML assets. So we see that there needs to be a verification whenever we interact with Web3. Any system that doesn't include verification, whether verifying your front ends, whether verifying your RPC data using light clients, whether verifying cross-chain messages using the respective proofs, you will have some level of, you're essentially exposing some level of vectors that allow attackers to take control. So my perspective is like, I'm surprised that the Safe team doesn't have an IPFS deployment. Like, for instance, the Polkadot JS wallet, the console that everybody hates so much, does have an IPFS deployment. So you can always access it through IPFS, and you can be sure that there's no way that any attacker can like take over those records, because IPFS is actually stored on the blockchain, and replace them with something else. And also, I think there's the problem of blind signing, which I don't know if it's I don't know if it's solvable. I think maybe we need more sophisticated hardware wallets that can properly decode what exactly it is you're signing. I think maybe we need to actually forget about ledger and whatever, and instead champion maybe using a whole smartphone that you just maybe never connect to the internet, right? And the smartphone has the necessary wallet application that is able to decode whatever it is you're seeing, and show that to you before you sign this. I think that's a much better way and a much more secure approach to signing, especially if those wallets hold a lot of funds. You absolutely want to be able to see what exactly it is you're signing. But on those tiny, ledger wallet interfaces, that's obviously very, very hard. So I think those form factors for wallets definitely also need to go. So you can see there's multiple places that could definitely use more improvements in the case of the front end, and also in the case of the signing. But it could have all been avoided if there was just more scrutiny as to what the people were signing. I would expect that if you're signing transactions over billions of dollars, you decode the exact call data, and you don't just trust anyone else to tell you what the call data is, right? So that's the problem. Trust here is the problem.
Okay. But for the normal users, we're not holding so much assets, but we're doing transaction on chain frequently. How can we make sure that our transaction is safe? Because you are an expert.
No, for sure. I think using a second phone is definitely the way to go. Maybe your old phone, maybe some small smartphone that's no longer like being sold on the market, but has the ability to download an app, and you can essentially, you don't have to connect it to the internet. There's, I think, the Polkadot wallet vault application for Polkadot users, where you can have this air gapped phone and you use that as your signer, and it's able to fully display the call data and its consequences whenever you're signing messages. I think that's the best thing to go. I think the last line of defense is absolutely being sure of whatever it is that you're signing, and being able to decode this call data and unpack it and see, okay, this is transferring what to where and why.
Okay. It's never too much to check more. So Tyron, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I'm totally agree with what Sean just shared. Um, I mean, I just want to re-emphasize here is keep it offline, right? So in during this story, we don't care about, we don't talk about what is actually the process of the multi-sign members signing the transaction. And we also don't discuss about what's the technical issue during the save or during the Bybit. But in this story, there's one sentence that we need to notice is that the multi-sig member of this Bybit, they are trying to sign in, and they got a sign which is not what they're trying to actually sign to. So in this case, which means they did signing the transaction online. So they are using a cold wallet, but they connect with the internet and sign in online by connecting the internet. So that's the question here, because your private key will not keep safe if you compares to if you 100% keep it offline. So that's the question here. I mean, for user or for a well user, right? If you have 1 billion inside of your wallet, you will never use your cold wallet and connect to laptop and connect to internet and then sign it. So what you should do is like you sign in the offline computer. You just literally make the call inside of the parameters of sender, receiver, amount, and the hash, and you sign it offline, and you just teleport the hash online. So you get permission, and so you get purely safe in online, and none of them or none of the multisig members can manipulate or change the hash of your result. So that's the key thing that I won't re-emphasize here. And for the normal user, we need to take care about when we downloading something. The quite interesting thing was Lot Mist just twittering about is if you search Google Chrome right now, and the first result is the advertisement of Google Chrome. If you download it, you are downloading a hash. You are downloading a hacked version of Chrome. So if you download it right now, anything of your information will be hacked immediately. So if we see any of the information from Twitter or other sources, make sure you just search it in maybe in Google and try to get access in the first of formal result, not advertisement, to be honest. So you make sure what you're downloading is safe, and make sure if you have a billion, make sure you keep everything offline if you don't want to lose your money, right? So that's the way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, my wallet was hacked before, and I lost quite a lot. It's because I clicked some unknown website, and authority give them the authority to transfer my USDT, I think, and they they keep an eye on my wallet for a month. They just don't do anything, and after months they start to quietly transfer your money. So I think there's a lot of tricks for the hackers, and now I got a habit that is I will check my wallet with revoke. I recommend everybody can try this, which is you can just put your address in this website. You can find out that which which website you already your transfer your USD or other right to give your authority to that website or not, and then you can revoke them. So I will now I usually I will check my wallet address once a week to make sure that there won't have this issue not happen again. So hope that every normal users can be very, very careful and keep your wallet offline if you got a lot of money, and if not, it's just a normal wallet. You just keep checking. Just be careful. Okay, so thanks for the Bybit hacking, that the second market got impact a lot. The Bitcoin has decreased 20%, I think, in a week. So the liquidity is not quite good. So in the current market, the which where the liquidity is relatively poor, how do you think this issue should we focus on building the foundation while waiting for the market recovery, or are there more proactive measures that can be taken? How about Tyrone to share your opinion?
Yeah, I just want to say we do as we do, right? We keep building, and for the protocol like Bifrost, right? We provide liquid staking service. Like this is a foundation of the service in this industry. So we actually don't much care about what is the market situation. We just build the fundamental things, and especially when it's if it is the bear market, so we build deeply and keep focusing on the products. So we make sure when the bull market comes here, and we can welcome it easily. So um, for the situation right now for the market, I would say yes, for sure. There's a lot of manipulate and hacked even the breaking news inside of this industry. But to be honest, this is the positive things. To be honest, because um, everyone's watching and the users are expanding, and the issue can be found, can be targeted, and so the industry and Web3 can be improved. So we can get in process, right? Can be get in progress, and that's the positive thing to this industry. And I also agree, um, the bubbles is always pushing forward with improvements inside of any industry. So yeah, I think looking at this thing um, optimizely, so that's good.
Okay. The bubble will eventually burst, so we have to keep on building. What's your take on this, Sean?
So, a common sentiment on Twitter has been that this has been the worst bull market ever. I don't know if you've seen this, and I completely agree. I think the previous bull markets have been driven by innovations in the blockchain space. I mean, we start off with Ethereum, 2017 bull run, and that basically king making Ethereum, the ICO craze, and all of the new applications that came out of that is laying the foundations for Ethereum. The 2021 cycle, which brought in significant advancements in DeFi, lending, on-chain dexes, and the like, and new kinds of financial products. We seem to be here again, but now we have nothing to show for it, right? Like this entire market has been extractive, mostly meme coins, insiders, pump and dumps. The president of the United States drugged a coin. That's actually insane. That's a very insane thing. And so I I don't think we actually deserve a bull market, to be very, very honest with you. We still have all of the issues that hold DeFi back. We still have very insecure bridges powering most of DeFi. We still have very insecure data sources powering a large percentage of DeFi. And so I think that the next bull run, hopefully, should see a resurgence of these advancements in user applications and in user experiences as well, for it to really, really last, and for it to really, really usher in this new wave of new users for the ecosystem. I'm optimistic. We continue to build towards this glorious future. For us, we don't see a world that can exist without Web3, without systems that allow for people who don't necessarily trust each other to still interact as this world continues to grow and scale in size. And so we believe that future will eventually come, and we just have to position ourselves appropriately. And we just have to build technology that is also well positioned to enable this world.
Okay. Um, yeah, I agree with you. Meme coins are really insane. We still have many issues to solve. We can't let users come in just to gamble. Web3 has a lot of value. Um, okay, thank you for your sharing. And let's check if there are some questions from our audience. Okay, thank you for the comments you left. There's a lot of comments, and thank you for the conversation you've engaged with us. Uh, I don't see some questions out there, so I think we can wrap up our broadcast today. And thank you for all the listeners, and thank you for our guests for sharing their insights. And I hope that uh, our listeners can follow the Bifrost and the Hyperbridge and to support their proposals and to bring more liquidity and users to Polkadot ecosystem. Okay, that's call it a day, and thank you so much for you guys.
Thank you for having me.
It's me. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Likewise.
bye bye.
Bye.